Please give it up for Masaba Gupta.
Hi, Masaba.
You expect that, right? After she's done a Netflix show, she knows exactly where to sit. Was there a point where you yourself were trying to find your identity? Because you come from a different world. Mum's an actor. So was there always that little pulling of the strings where you were trying to find your own identity?
You know, more than anything, I think when your parents are such celebrated individuals in their respective careers, I think what happens is my constant need was that, oh, can I just be a sports person because I want to continue that legacy? Or can I act because, again, there's legacy there. So I was always trying to find ways to fit myself in both of these professions. And I mean, we're in India, Bollywood and cricket are the only two things, and weddings. People are only interested in these things and festivals, you know. So I think that for me, it was always, can I lend myself to either of these? But my mother, you know, being straight talking, like you said, I'm here today because of the fact that she was straightforward. And because she wasn't mollycoddling me or giving me incorrect advice or making me feel like the sun shines out of my backside. She's very brutal in her feedback. So I think when your parents are so honest and upfront with you, unafraid of trying something new, you know, because they have in some way through that feedback and through that constant talking to you, they've actually made you bulletproof. But when your parents actually, you know, give you a pedestal out of turn, give you opportunities which you don't deserve, they actually do the child harm, is what I believe. And I think I've been able to dabble with so many things. One, because also I was financially very secure. You know, my mother was earning. There was no problem of putting food on the table every night. And, you know, when you have that, you automatically become very brave. So I think a lot of star kids and a lot of us who are like, oh, you all are so brave, is because our parents have provided for us. Which is why I can go out today and say, I want to try 5 things and then choose what I want to do. It's a luxury, right? But I also think that my mother was the one who actually pushed me to do fashion because she thought I had a great eye. And I think in that somewhere I said, okay, this is my calling. And at 19, I don't know what I was thinking, but I just knew that I wanted to start. I wanted to get out there and be a part of the industry because I noticed the gap in the industry, which at the time was ready to wear, which is essentially what I'm wearing, which is that you buy things off the rack. And India was such a bridal-heavy market. There were only designers doing bridal and couture, and there was nobody really offering you everyday designer wear. So we really thought that we as a brand could lend to it, and I say we because my mom and I started the brand. Today it's of course become this different thing altogether. It's part of a corporate. We got acquired by the Aditya Birla Group in 2022. So a lot has happened, but the thing is I've also not been the person who has ever been lazy about my privilege. A lot of people can be that, you know. You can just be like, I have this opportunity, I have this pedestal and do nothing about it. So I always believe, and this is for everybody, if you've been given an opportunity, just double it up. Work your ass off and double it up.
Just go for it. What does it mean? Because you did. Your younger self understood more about creativity and identity and business, which a lot of people struggle to. We are still trying to figure it out.
You know, the thing I'll tell you is that there's no way around it. You have to go through the fear. I think what you're talking about is the fear of messing things up. You have to go through that fear because only when you make those hopefully inexpensive mistakes is when you actually find what you truly should be landing at. And I'm not a businesswoman by nature. I have taught myself to become one. And I've only taught myself that because I thought that being just a product person is not enough. And that if I was just creative, I would be robbing my brand of the potential that it has. A lot of people ask me why I chose to be a part of a corporate and expand and have this. I mean, we were a 20-member team for the longest time. Today, we're upwards of 500. And I just feel that I took the plunge because I knew that I didn't want to be mediocre. But you see, the thing is, whenever you have such a strong fallback system like your family, you sort of make braver choices, if you ask me. And I think that it all boils down to financial independence. And there's something about it, even as a woman, I feel like you feel like there's a cushion in the back. So there's a wall that's supporting you in the back. So you're a bit more confident about making certain choices. But I became an entrepreneur in 2015. Up until then, I was just a creative product person. In fact, I would say it out loud that I'm not a businesswoman. Don't involve me in certain decisions. You know, the thing is, I have to thank the universe that I got to be a creative person for such a long time. And I had a great, and I also, what I did is I made sure that I hired a team better than me, which is very important. I think what happens with a lot of creative people is you become very selfish, you become very guarded about your territory. I did this thing where I said, I'm going to hire the better people, I'm going to hire the finance brain who will in some way teach me. And I had a business head for 10 years who taught me how to run a business or how to make a business out of fashion. So I think it all boils down to being very self-aware. I was very self-aware as a 19-year-old. I was trying to be a pro tennis player. I knew it wouldn't work out for me because I didn't have that kind of discipline. And I just pivoted and said, let me make something out of this, out of fashion. And I'm still figuring it out. I mean, today I have a beauty brand too, and I think, I don't know, somehow I'm an entrepreneur.
There was a very interesting conversation I had with my wife yesterday, because when I told her that I'm going for this this little session where my guest is Masaba, she smiled, and I was like, "Why are you smiling?" She's like, and she's a content creator, and she said, "There's a line which everyone uses when it comes to Masaba, that if you're wearing her clothes, you know it's a Masaba before you know it's a Masaba." The fashion industry is full of people who express their identity through what they create. You're someone who's right there when it comes to expressing your identity. Like I said, you are unapologetic about your design, your creativity. How did you protect your identity and that voice in an industry where people are expected to just fit in?
I just think I was born to stand out. I mean, my whole life story, to be honest, has been about being Destiny's child. Be it the parents I was born to, be it the circumstances that I was born in, be it the fact that I've been able to create a brand for beauty and call it Love Child, which is my whole identity. I've always been Destiny's baby. You know, I think that even though life has been full of ups and downs, I think that I've taken every down and made it an up, if you ask me. So I'm not somebody who likes to, either I don't rest on my laurels, which is that I'll have a mega show or I'll have a big moment, there'll be a big PR thing that I've done. But I'm like, okay, but what's happening next week? You know, it's always like on to the next. So I don't take my success too seriously. And I also don't take failure too seriously. I like to have fun with failure. I like to take failure or negativity. And Love Child was negative. I mean, it was a negative term attached to me, but I chose to make it a positive. And that's what I'm trying to say. I think that in many ways, all of us have such individual, distinct life stories. And that is what makes us stand out. So in an industry, why would I try and fit in where everybody else is actually doing just a version of what the other person's doing, if you think about it?
There's a difference in being noticed, and there's a difference in being unforgettable. How do you toe the line where getting noticed is easy? You do something well.
This is the easiest thing today.
But how do you create something unforgettable? Because everyone in this room, I'm sure, when they look at themselves maybe 20 years, 2 decades down the line, they want to be in the unforgettable category. They don't want to be just, हाँ यार notice कर लिया किसी ने.
See, the thing today, unfortunately, I'll tell you, is that not just that. I think what you're asking is also that thin line between fame and success. Success and fame are two very different things. It's the same between being noticed and being unforgettable. So success to me is being unforgettable, and fame is being noticed, which is, and it's very easy to buy fame today. And each one of us in this room is distinct. We have our own life stories, we have experiences, we have an eye that is very, very different. And there's a quote that I love by Diana Vreeland, which is, it's a documentary and people should watch it if you get the time. It's called The Eye Has to Travel. And it's a very powerful thing, because I think as creative people, we get stuck in our own boxes and bubbles and our comfort zone. But you have to travel, you have to see the world, you have to see what people are doing, and you have to really go out there and be exposed to the elements to be able to do something distinct. But I think being unforgettable, one, is a longer journey, so it needs patience. it is not one where everybody will come and give a pat on your back because it's tough, right? But the trick is to stay true to your own individual voice and not try and be a version of someone else. And I don't know how much to say this, but it's easy to be a duplicate, you know? And it's almost like saying, I want to replicate this person's success because they've done this, 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 and I will do this, 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 but I'll do it better. No, find your own path, build your own story. But before that, find a way to be financially secure. And it's harder to, I mean, it's easier said than done if you ask me, but I think when you're financially secure, you make braver decisions.
Creative careers, I mean, they look really glamorous on the outside, right? But there's so much that goes behind the scenes. But building a business is a whole different other ball game. I mean, the money, the product, and I think that's the simplest someone ever said, what is a business? A business is nothing but you create something which people want. As simple as that.
Create
Right?
desire.
Yeah, but there are also delays. There are dilemmas of what to do next. How do you balance that out at your level when you know that you have created something? It's not just the product now. I have to go beyond the product into the business side of things.
I think from 2009 to 2015, I was just product. I like this, so I will sell this. I like this, so I will do this. I also think that at that stage, we were at what? Some 6 or 7 stores in the country. And I suddenly realized that, oh, there's a shop to fill. And when you have a shop to fill and you have bills to pay, your whole mindset changes. You got to churn it out. You got to churn out pieces that are, you know, size agnostic. You got to do things that feel like they belong on a rack. You got to do things that people want to take off the rack, try on, hopefully pay money for. So these are very different things. And I think that I had to put on that founder's hat, as they call it, which is that you go beyond product and creativity and actually say, okay, does this piece have the potential to sit on a shop floor? So I think I changed my mindset in 2015 because, you know, there was a big design shift that happened, which I don't think a lot of people even noticed. But I did digital prints for the longest time, which were quirky and, you know, cool colors and stuff. And then 2015 is when we first introduced occasion wear, which is festive wear. So it was the foil print. It was the first time we did it. I remember Shilpa Shetty wore the first piece, which was this ivory and, no, it was a tan and red combination. It had a foil horse print. I think that was our most expensive piece then. It was for some 20,000 rupees. And it just flew off the shelf. And I was like, oh, so this is what people want. And until then, we were struggling to pay rent. And we were like, yeah, you know, now, okay, creativity is great, enjoying, having fun. But now I got to take some hard calls. Paisa banana padega, you know. And my mother was like, you got to shut the juice store. What's happening? Nothing's moving. And you are enjoying and you are just sitting and like creating your print after print. And then this happened. And then we said, okay, this is it. This is a shift in gears. So I think one has to also be very, very aware of what people are saying. And the consumer is very smart. They're smarter today than they were then. They will tell you exactly what they want. So you got to listen to them and apply their feedback without diluting your creative vision and present a product on the floor.
Do you sometimes think you, Masaba, are working for Masaba?
Yeah, I'm an employee, unpaid. Underpaid, actually. I get paid, but underpaid.
Because now you're beyond just being
Listen,
yourself.
I'm for people. I'm for people.
You're a brand now. Like, I mean, it's
No,
a
but
universe.
I'm for different people. I'm a creative person. I'm marketing because I'm obsessed with marketing. So I do like Love Child and my social media like crazy. And I am now a mom, so I'm that. And I'm also an actor. So I'm telling you, I think I have an out-of-body experience most of the time. But you're right. I work for myself. Sometimes I take permissions for like payments. Like it's crazy. It's like my team's like, but this is yours. I'm like, yeah, but there's a process. It has to be followed. Yeah, I am so glad that I have this out-of-body experience because it allows me to stay humble.
Here we are sitting at Pearl. AI is the new reality because it's AI First Design Institute. It's the only one. Have you started using it too?
Of course.
There you go.
Listen, the thing is, I think people fear AI not because of what it can potentially do or help you with, but because it, in some ways, can reveal your potential. Okay, so I say this to my team all the time. I'm like, if I need a presentation in 7 minutes, it's possible today. Don't tell me you don't have the bandwidth, because AI is doing it for you. We actually did this thing in the office. I have something called a founder's office, which is my core 3 people that work with me. And just the other day, we were trying to build something on Nano Banana or something like that. And I remember saying, guys, why is this taking so long? We got to turn this around in like 1 day, 2 days, or like 1 hour, something like that. And they said, I don't know, I don't have the bandwidth to do it. I said, no, but AI can do it for you. You just have to know how to prompt it. See, the thing is, we have to embrace the world we're in. Train yourself in AI like your life depends on it. Sure, maybe 2 years down the line, 1 year down the line, we realize that it's not something that's absolutely important, but it's important now.
Yeah, it's like getting, if you want to do business and you think you're getting an MBA degree, you're just getting a degree. You're getting a skill set. And if you master AI, it's just going to, I guess, be a tool that you can use because everyone else is also going to use it.
Everyone
You
is
need a head
using
start
it.
in life.
Everyone is using it. And I'll tell you, the only thing is that as a founder, I have to be very cautious of when it's being misused. And I think that answers the question about corruption, which can also happen, where the problem is I sometimes look at a resume and I meet somebody for a very, very important role, and I know that they've given me a full-blown AI answer. And I'm like, no, 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 no. Tell me
So
what you think.
how do you catch them then? How do you?
Oh, it's very easy.
How do you bring the genuine person out of?
AI is cold. Never forget. Human touch is warm. Human thinking is warm. AI is cold. This is my submission, and I believe it. However, if you want to solve for speed, you have to use AI. Because we're living in a very fast-paced world today. And I'm not just saying that you have to churn out design on AI, but today you can start your own business with the help of AI. Under 2 lakhs, anybody today in this room can start a business and be a D2C founder. That's the power of AI.
So when you say that you have started using AI, and like I said, I mean, Google happened in our lifetime, right? We started our careers
I mean,
in
I'm
Google.
a millennial, I'm traumatized. I don't know what else
Same
is coming.
year. 86 born, guys. 86 born.
88. So it's
Yeah,
like
so-
virus, this, that. God knows what all is happening. AI is coming. Everything is.
But Masaba, it's amazing, right? Because we were the generation that started operating on computers, right? And now we are living in a world where
Computers are coming to.
computers are everywhere. Like we are wearing computers.
They're coming to operate you.
How important is it that where we are today, an institute like Pearl has embraced the idea that, you know what, this is a reality. So instead of keeping it away and going old school, we'll embrace the new reality. Yes, first mover advantage, but also we don't want to be left behind.
100%. And why should any student that's signing up for this be left behind? I think that if you ask me, a lot of the learning in fashion in this country is a bit behind, which is why I'm very, very, very happy that Pearl has introduced this in their curriculum, because I'll tell you what, it's a bit overwhelming to be at a workplace and then discover AI. But if you've been taught it from the very beginning and you study it almost like a subject, then it's not so overwhelming, I think. Like, it was a bit overwhelming for me as well as a creative person, because I was like, can I be replaced? But the famous saying, which everyone talks about, no, AI will not replace you. It will replace the person who doesn't embrace AI, right? So use it to your advantage, but don't think of it as a substitute for your brain. You are still giving the prompt. So you got to train yourself to be in the best position to give the best, most immersive prompt that exists. And that's it. It's half the job done.
Just following your career, I think just adding to what you said, you had a beautiful journey, sometimes turbulent, sometimes very satisfying. And for someone who's starting out, Masaba, from your journey that you'd probably want to pass on, let's make this as real as it gets.
I don't think in life you get what you deserve, you get what you negotiate. I really live by that. Okay, because, I mean, there's a lot of deserving people out there. but sometimes they get it, sometimes they don't. You got to put what you want on the table and open it up for negotiation, because you will never get what you truly deserve. Because there's going to be somebody out there who has more money to pay the paps, and they will go out there and do something, and you got to still be like, you still got to do it, you know. And I don't think that I spend a lot of time with people who are older than me, who, like, my favorite person in life, who's my mentor and everything, is actually my banker.
Your banker.
Yeah, because, and I'll tell you something he told me the other day. I was telling him, you know, I'm stressed out and I don't think it's all looking a bit tricky, and what do? I'm stressed, timeline nahi hoga, ye hoga, whatever, because we're in the middle of something, a restructuring of sorts. And he said, listen, even when you're sleeping, the planets are at work. All you have to do is show up. You get up, you show up, and leave the rest. But you got to show up, you know. Luck has to find you working hard, right? So I think that, and I would also say this, especially the younger lot, you know, today social media has been it's been great, but it's also been a little bit smoke and mirrors, you know. It's an illusion. Very easy for people to make you believe that you're doing well, that they're doing well, that everything is hunky-dory. Don't fall for it, okay? Everyone is screwed. You just got to keep working hard, and you got to keep your chin up, and you got to believe that you're going to come out of this alive. That is it. You have to keep your chin up, literally.
I've got a couple of quick questions. One word that defines your journey.
Oh, authentic.
One skill every creative must build.
To understand numbers.
One thing young creatives should stop chasing. Students, Masaba, students.
Okay. Unnecessary PR.
One thing they should protect at all costs.
Their creativity, which is that your original thought process. Not the borrowed one, but your original, the core of your creativity.
And what makes a brand unforgettable?
Constantly evolving, staying very, very agile, and adapting to changing times.
Done. Sure, guys, look, you have this opportunity. She's here. We don't know when you're going to meet her next. You get your opportunity now. So please feel free to ask your question. I'll just happily move aside.
Ananya Verma.
Ananya Verma.
Yeah, I'm 18 years old right now. Just first is that, like, what mindset should we own in this industry? It's like,
I think that the world today that we live in is smoke and mirrors, like I was saying earlier. And I think everything is an illusion. You are being fed a version of people, brands, news that may not be the absolute truth. So I think you have to form a very, very strong opinion of the world, which is sort of untouched by everything that you're being fed. So I think having an independent point of view, like I keep telling people I hire, that develop a point of view. And it should be an individual point of view, which is not borrowed from your mentor, somebody you like, or something you read on social media. So have a very individual take on the world. Have an independent take on the world. And I would say you gotta keep hustling and trying, because today everyone is in the best position to succeed. Just because the barrier between people and brands and success and being available has just become so small. So I think you have to keep hustling, stay agile, stay fluid, and never be stuck in the past. I think always be future facing.
and what is a business mindset according to you?
Just be prepared to die every day and like resurrect yourself.
Oh, that's great advice, Masaba. Thank you. Like, okay.
It's the truth, guys. I died yesterday. I'm back here, right? So,
Like,
no, I'm joking.
Just
I'm
hustle,
joking.
right?
No, hustle is also tough. Yeah, you see, the thing is, it's easy to say hustle when you are like living in an apartment, taken care of, and like somebody is doing your jhadu pocha and cooking for you. Then you can hustle, na? I don't know how. Like I keep wondering. I want to ask my accountant this, for example, right? She's a mom of one. Okay, she cooks, she cleans, she comes. She asked me for an OTP minutes after giving birth. And I was like, how is this possible? She's a hustler. That's a hustler. I am not a hustler. I have a lot of privilege to be like calling myself a hustler, if you ask me. But there have been days where I feel like I don't want to continue doing what I'm doing. I'm overwhelmed. I'm stressed. Throw a baby in the mix and you'll question all your life choices all over again. But I think that you have to show up. You have to show up to life every single day, and hopefully with a smile on your face. But even if not, you just have to show up. And I always take Priyanka Chopra's example. I think she just shows up. She's in New York one day, she's in LA one day, she's in Bombay one day, and I'll tell you, she will stand in a room full of 500 people and have a full-on immersive conversation with you, looking into your eyes, and you just never forget her.
Being consistent.
Consistently showing up.
So my question for you is a little personal. What were your struggles as a woman in your profession?
That's an interesting question. Although I think that in fashion, luckily, women have been given a lot of equal opportunity. I think it's one of the few industries that actually gives you that equal platform. But I think sometimes I feel like because I'm a woman, I will say something in a room full of men and they will just think I'm being emotional or I'm having a hormonal reaction to something. But I'm not. Because when I'm dealing with men, I am on level playing field. I'm talking to you not as a man, but as a woman who believes that she's an equal. So it's not a hormonal reaction or an emotional reaction. I'm actually I have the ability to be empathetic, which a lot of men don't. Sorry. But a lot of men don't.
I'm agreeing to everything that she's saying.
Yeah. So I'm just saying that, sometimes you're in a room and a man will make a decision and it'll be considered to be brave and strong and good for the company. And a woman will make it and she will be brash and emotional and aggressive. I think that we're just naturally multitaskers. We, as women, have the ability to always find a solution that is a win-win for both parties. Think about it. I think a man first thinks of himself. So I think that has always been a challenge, to be able to get people or men in a room to see me as an equal and making a decision that is as good as theirs or possibly better.
You know, everyone is looking at me when you keep saying man, right?
Sorry.
Yeah.
Everyone in this fashion industry, in the some way or the other, are doing almost identical work, right? If you see, almost every brand have similar stuff out there. So what would you advise, or but at the same time people are wanting what they are wanting, like जो products market पे है उनको वही चाहिए.
I think it's become harder to be a founder today and have an identity today because we were talking about it the other day, how hard is it to start a brand from your home today, right? So we, for example, noticed that a lot of people were doing our way of doing print. So I had to keep evolving and move away from my own aesthetic. But what I would say is that, see if you actually have something distinct to say. Everybody doesn't have to start a brand. Everybody doesn't have to be a founder. Sometimes you are a better merchandiser, a better marketer. Sometimes you're good at running a business, but you're not a creative person. Sometimes you're better at being on the shop floor and actually selling the vision to consumers. So find what you're good at. I think what's happened is everybody believes that they should start something of their own. It's not always necessary. I think for me, given my heritage, my background, my father's Caribbean, my mom's Indian, I had a very distinct view of fashion to begin with. See if you even have that individual expression or not. And that takes a long time to figure out. So unless and until you have it, I would say don't attach yourself to the idea that you want to be a founder. Sometimes you're better in, I don't want to say a job, but you're better defining, refining, and putting together somebody else's vision. So I don't think you should be married to the idea of just doing your own thing all the time.
Hi, Masaba. My
Hi.
heart is beating actually seeing you.
Oh, mine is beating answering all these questions, which might get me cancelled.
So what do you actually think is the biggest challenge for people like me and also our age group, like, in our early 20s, or anyone who already had a global exposure but still feels stuck. So what do you feel is the biggest challenge? Why do they feel that? And also, secondly, a little bit I want to mention is that I have faced racism a lot, like in an international background. So have you ever came across such kind of scenarios where you had racism, you have faced racism, and you have battled in your own way?
Listen, I mean, racism is like, I think I was born in the pool of racism, literally, because I feel like, to answer your first question first, I would say that most people struggle at this age because they don't find their why. And when I say find their why, I mean that why do you want to be an entrepreneur? I'll tell you my why, that I could have very well been a small boutique brand, selling from home, 1 store, 2 stores. Again, I didn't have a need to really be an entrepreneur. And I'm a first generation entrepreneur, by the way. Like, my whole family is either accountants, or my mom's an actor, dad's a cricketer. I don't have anyone who started their own business as such. I thought that I was robbing both myself and my aesthetic, which I thought was very unique, of its potential. I thought more people need to see it. I thought it needed to be in more doors. It needed to reach a larger consumer set, and which is why I started my own thing. The other why was that I didn't have the pressure of making money. When you don't have that pressure, you are at your creative best. Most people at this age, one, they want to skip steps. And I keep telling a lot of like 24, 25-year-olds in my ecosystem as well, that don't skip the steps. You have to go through the hard work. You have to go through the churn. You have to go through the uncertainty. You can't be student 1 second and then entrepreneur the next, right? There's a middle path which you have to follow. But I think coming to racism, the second piece would be that ragging and God knows what all. I mean, I went through hell in school. I went through hell in, I think I continue to, if you ask me, because sometimes I get a lot of flack when I'm doing like a video for Love Child. Somebody will comment on like size of nose, or say that, oh my God, you're so dark skinned and what are you trying to sell us? Because see, India loves fair skin. And when it came to racism, I think I also had a lot of history of my father. So I think for me, it was that. There's a lot of that history that always stays back of my mind. So I always fight back racism and I get very upset with it. But you have to find your why. I don't know how much more to say this. You have to be very clear about why you want to do what you do and not skip the steps. You have to go through that tunnel, not around it. And when it comes to racism, see, it's going to exist. Okay, we are at least a decade away from being, I would say, 10% less racist, even here, like in India. I've done it. I mean, I have a beauty brand as a brown-skinned woman in India. I mean, I'm half Indian, half Caribbean. I could never have imagined even being able to get one person to believe my story. I have textured skin. I have had acne my whole life. I'm not a perfect body. I'm not a perfect anything. But I'm also not the perfect, conservative, desirable woman for India, right? Who's like quiet and shy and like does things a certain way. So I think you have to find your why, I guess. Yeah. So I don't know how much I've helped you, but you have to find your way through it.
Masaba, thank you so much.
Thank
and
you.
Before we wrap this afternoon, I just am going to hand over the mic to Jigyasa here.
Please, can we get a huge round of applause for Masaba?
I had a very, very lovely, immersive conversation with the students today, some incoming and some who are present, and also just across different age groups. So it was very insightful, not just, I think, for them, but for me as well, as to how the new generation is thinking. And I'm very, very proud and happy that I was here today, especially because I have a lot of regard for Pearl, given that it's India's only AI integrated design institute. And the fact that they're focusing so much on tech and the future of what fashion will be for their students, I think it's the perfect place to be in for anybody who wants to start off their own gig.